So in the previous video, we created the how to play scene, and in this video, we are going to create the stage panel. So it's just going to have some default UI and a prefab to store the stage template, and we'll create a scriptable object to store all of the stages details, which is going to be the number of diamonds needed and the background for that stage. So let's create it. So how to play scene is done. So let's go inside our main menu, which is going to be our scenes, and let's start creating our stage panel. So our stage panel is already visible. So we are going to patch. So the first thing it's going to have is the back image, and there's going to be some diamonds. So let's create a UI image and we'll call it back to main. And this is going to be positioned from the right, size is 128 by 128. And the image we are going to use is a default circle with a black color. So you can see where it is currently right now. And similarly, we'll add an image which is going to be the default circle with a size of 112 by 112. And we'll add one more image which is going to be our back button, and its color is going to be black. So this is our default button. We already created it in our how to play scene. And after that, it's going to have one more image for the diamonds. So let's create an image and we'll call it diamonds. And for the image, we will use our Apple 0, and its size, it's going to be 96 by 96, and its position from the top left, and its position is going to be 64 and -80. So looks bad enough. 128 by 128. Nope. 160 by 160. Now it looks good enough. And after having our diamond, yeah, that was supposed to be the diamond, but I added an apple. So let's have the diamond, and we'll set its color to be a reddish color, and we'll add a text to it, which is just going to be the count, and it's just going to call the random number. And the text, its position is going to be from the middle right, and it's at 272, and the size is going to be 512 by 50. And for the text, it's bold 64, and color is going to be black, and the font we are going to use our M6, and its position is on the left and the center. So this one's going to show our diamonds, and after that we'll need a title, which is again going to be a text, and the title, it's just going to say they need to be fed. Let's make it bold, and it's going to be 64, black, uh, doesn't matter, and it needs to be centered on both horizontal and vertical. And the font we are going to use is this one, and for the title we'll use 1920 by 80, and it's going to be positioned from the top center at -72. So this is going to be our title, and after that there's going to be one more image, and let's call it select, which is just going to call the select stage, and let's position it 0 0 from the bottom center, and its size is going to be 512 by 64, and for the image we are going to use our stage down, and it is going to be 128. So this is going to be our button, and inside this button we are going to have a text. Mm, so let's add a text, and it is just going to call select stage. Let's make it bold, centered, and change the font to M6. And for now, let's set it the size. And after that, let's position a little bit higher, which is going to be 24. And the color is also white. Let's increase the size to 48. So this is going to be our default layout, and after that we are going to have ouch. So we have everything right now. Now let's create an empty, and it's going to be our stage holder. And our stage holder is going to be stretched across the whole screen, and it's going to have a grid layout component attached. And let's see how it's going to look by adding a couple of images. And let's make it black. Uh, we'll duplicate it a couple of times, and now let's set up the settings. So for our stage holder, uh, from the left and the right it's going to be 120, and from the top it's going to be 256, and the cell size is going to be 256 by 256, and the spacing is going to be 128 by 128, and the upper left and child alignment middle center. Constraint nothing. So that should be good enough. And instead of, if we set it to 128, it's going to show us this. And now instead of this image, we are going to use the have to play, and the sprite is going to be our default StageSelect sprite, and the color is going to be white. And our stage BG, which should be inside our UI, we need to set it up. So instead of, let's have it full rect and apply, and when we go inside our sprite editor, let's change everything to 32 so it scales up correctly. So 40 seems to be nice. And inside our image, instead of simple, we'll set it to sliced so it looks good enough. And instead of image, we'll call it have to play, and we'll add a text to it, and let's just call it text. Let's set its color to black, make it bold, change its size to 64, change the font to M6, have it whole screen aligned to the center, and increase the line width to 25 plus 5 plus 5. Character width to 10, and this one let's set it to 25. Now there's a little bit of problem here. 256 by 256, alignment is towards the center. Well, doesn't matter, let's have it as it is. And similarly, it's going to need a button component to go to our main menu stage, and it's going to have tint of none. Should not be capturing. Now, after we have created our stage holder, we need to create our stage prefab. So let's create it. So to create our stage prefab, let's first create an UI image, and we'll call it stage, and we'll save this image. Let's set its color to black, and we'll save this image as a prefab. So inside our prefabs, I think we created. So let's save this image. So now it's a prefab, and now let's edit this prefab. So inside our scene, as you can see, we have our sprite, and default it's going to be 256 by 256. And let's set up the sprite to our background sprite, which is our stage BG, and its color is going to be white. Now after we have the sprite set up, let's add a mask sprite. So we'll call it mask background, and similarly it's going to scale the whole screen, but its size is going to be 0.965 by 0.965. And for the image we'll use our stage BG. And we'll add a mask component to it. So it whatever is I mean any of its child, if there is an image or outside its value, it's going to mask it. So let's see what will happen. So inside our mask, first we are going to have a text which is going to be number. First we are going to what we need first. So let's create a background. So UI image and BG, which is going to stretch across, and as you can see, it is only stretching across whatever value it is. So the current image is square, but we applied the mask, so it is not going over where our previous mask was. So after having our background, we are going to have one more image. So let's create an image, stage BG down, or whatever you want to call it as, and its position is going to be at -103. And let's set up our platform. So this is our platform, and I think instead of 100 by 100, its size will need to change it. Let's set it as a native size, and it will automatically fit it. Now after that we are going to have a number, so let's create a UI text and we'll call it number, and its color it's going to be black, size it's going to be 48, and it's just going to call one, which is going to be positioned at the center, and the font we are going to use is a default font, and it's going to be positioned at 64 and 256 by 64. And after that finally we'll have an image for the character, which is going to be our idle 0, set native size doesn't matter. And after we have our -12, -12 plus 6 plus 2, so that is our character. So if it is activated, it's going to show the background image and the number which is there. But if it's not activated, then what we are going to do is we'll create a UI and an image, and we'll call it active. Mm, Actually, it's inactive, and let's have it stretch across the whole screen. And for the image, similarly, it's going to be stage BG, but with the color of black. And similarly, let's attach a mask component. Won't matter, but let's just add it. Now we'll need one more image for the diamond. And for the diamond, we are going to use our apple. Size is going to be 64 by 64 and positioned at -64. And after that, let's create a text and we'll call this count. So how many are needed? And let's set it as 80 and 0, position from the left, aligned to the center. The font is going to be this one, and we'll call X56, and let's make it bold. So it looks we'll need that many amount of, what do you call it as, diamonds, coins, strawberries, white left and center. So this is going to be our inactive count, and it's going to have a script which is going to be StageSelect script. So let's create it inside our main menu. And inside our menu managers, let's put our main menu manager, and it doesn't matter much. So there are like 8 stages. So let's first add one of our stage. So this is our current stage, and we'll call it stage and slash 1, and we'll duplicate it 7 more times. I mean 6 more times, so there are total 8 stages. And we'll just change the stage number to 2, and this one's going to be at 3, 4, 5, and 6, and finally this one's going to be at 7. And now currently it's showing everything as unlocked, so by default let's set the active to false. So it's going to show all of our stages, and let's set our number to be a little bit larger. Now it's looking better. So that's going to be a default stage. It will need a stage select script and a button script attached to it. Move down. Transition is going to be none. So after we have all of that, we're also going to need an animation. So let's go inside our stage and we'll add an animator component. Let's move up and again move up. And for the animator, we are just going to use our button animator. So by default, it will blink in. And let's see how it looks. So our main panel is deactivated, doesn't matter. So let's turn off the sound. Let's hit play. And as you can see, our screen is popping in. And we'll also need to attach an animator to our how to play. So it already has a button component attached to it. So let's first see how to play and our back script are going to work. So when we hit black, we are just going to hide our stage and show the main scene. And when we click how to play, it's going to play the animation and load the how to play scene. So there's also a scriptable object creation for all of them. So let's create inside our prefabs scriptable object slash levels folder for stages. And inside our stages, we are going to have a folder for stage 1. And inside our stage 1, we are going to have a folder for all of the levels. So how it was, yeah, it was stage and capital. So the names were capital and we are going to create a scriptable object for all of our stages. So let's first code our diamonds, the back button and our play button. And inside our menu manager, as we have our how to play animator, we are going to add it to it. And similarly our diamonds count, we'll add it to the diamonds text. The current stage text is going to be different, but our background image, that's also going to be inside our level. Now let's go inside Visual Studio, and the simplest one is the back to main. So we'll code that first. Start game quit. So where is our click to play toggle sound? So public void back to menu, and inside our back to menu stage panel, will hide it and main panel will show it. And inside our audio manager, I think we forgot to add, and the add button sounds find objects of type button. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, we'll need to set that. And where is our main menu manager? Inside our audio manager, include an active, we need to add it. So it also includes an active. So that was our back to menu. And let's add our public void Click the how to play, and it's going to be similar to a normal button. So we'll do start coroutine, and let's create that coroutine. So it's going to be private enumerator. I click how to play, and let's copy the anim time code and let's paste it here. Click clip, and instead of play animator we'll do how to play animator, and after it returns we'll do unity engine dot scene management dot scene manager dot put scene, and we'll go inside the constants dot data dot how to play. So as we already added the how to play scene, it's going to play our how to play scene, and this is going to set our state diamonds text, and I click the how to play. So that should be it for the how to play. And if we go inside Unity and attach both the functions, so inside our button, uh, let's attach our click the how to play, and inside our back, let's add a button component, and let's attach the back to main function. Back to menu, and now if we play, we should I think we disabled the active, so there was a problem. So let's hit save first, and let's hit play, and let's quit, and let's hit play. So now, why is there still sound? Play on awake is set to true, and add button sound, audio manager is sound muted. There's a problem with this sound muted. Effect source dot mute and music source dot mute. Set int. If the sound is muted, then we'll set to 0. Hmm. Mm, mm, mm. So what happened? Let's hit play. So the sound is working. Our back is not working. I don't know why is it and why it isn't working. So should be working. Back to menu. Doesn't look like it's working. How to play is working. Back to main has a button component attached to it. It is interactable. Image. Should work. It's only 29 minutes. We'll complete the stage in the next 30 minutes. So that's our circle, 128 by 128. It is interactable. And back to menu. What it does, I think there may be a problem with the back to menu. Mute is sound muted. So if you are getting it, Got it. Now there should be no problems. So were we inside Visual Studio? No. So let's hit play and let's see if there's still sound. We need to mute it after all. So the order, let's go inside Visual Studio. I just changed the order, but it's going to be, yeah. And let's go into Unity and let's now hit play. It is working. Back. So that's a problem with our button. All of the images that are in front of it are causing the problems. Hmm. Back to main, the first image. Maskable, raycast target. No, it should not cause problems, but it is. So if we hit at this position, the back is working. Don't know. So the function is working, but it is not always clickable. So what happens if we set the order to be the highest one? Mm, 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 it's not working. Okay, curl transparent mesh, nothing. Raycast padding, nothing. Sprite mesh. I think it was interactive before, maybe with the text. Mm, there's a problem with the text. So it's at the bottommost position. So let's set up the text first, and after that we'll fix that. So maybe that should be the problem with the text. Yeah, there was the problem with the text. It was not detecting the click. So we have our basic scene setup. Now what we are going to do is have the data for all the levels, for which we are going to need to create a scriptable object. So inside our scriptable objects, we are going to create two scriptable objects. So player. So the first scriptable object is going to be for the level UI data, and the second scriptable object is going to be for our stage UI data. Hmm. Hmm. Don't look at how it looks right now. And let's code them up, and we'll get a reference inside our main or the gameplay manager, audio manager fixed. What are the red marks here? Checked in, pending edit, no issues found. know. I am seeing it first time. So we have our level UI data, and I don't think it added our stage UI data. C sharp asset scripts. So many problems. So ignored. Let's view our solution explorer again. And I don't know why, but the stage UI data is not added. So it's going to be a scriptable object, and it don't need the start and the update. And let's add our create asset menu. Mhm. And our file name, it's going to be StageUI. Let's just call it stage. Menu name, it's going to be inside our UI slash stage. And inside our stage UI data, first we'll have a public sprite, and that's going to be for our current image, which is going to be for the background, and a public int diamond is required. And finally, a public list, which is going to be of type level UI data. So let's copy this create asset menu and paste it here. And instead of stage, we'll call it level. File name, similarly, it's going to be a stage scriptable object, and our level is just going to have just one public int, the total number of diamonds. And inside our stage data, we are going to have a public list of level UI data, and we'll just call it levels. So these are our two scriptable objects, and we'll reference the scriptable objects inside our main menu manager as a list of items. So let's go inside our main menu manager, and after all of this, let's create a public, and it's going to be a list of mm, public list of stage UI data, and we'll just call it stages. And we'll need to create the stages as a scriptable object, so let's create them. Toggle sound, click the stage. So let's go inside Unity, and inside our prefabs, let's first create our level. So it's going to be stage mm, 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 level under slash one, and let's duplicate it. Where is the naming convention? Add it, preferences, and inside our asset analysis diagnostics 2D general. Where is our visual script? Hmm, don't know where it was, but there was a setting. So uh, the total number of diamonds are going to be one. Let's add two, and again, its total number of diamonds are going to be two. Let's add the level three, and where I was. So for the level 3 we are going to have 2. Level 4 we are going to have 1. Similarly for our level 5 we are going to have 2. Level 6 again maybe 2. And finally our 7th and the 8th level are going to have a total number of diamonds as 3. And finally we'll create a UI for our stage, and it's going to be the stage 1. Its current image is going to be the background one. The diamonds required are going to be 0, and for the levels let's lock the inspector and let's add all of our 8 levels. Now let's rename this to stage 2, and let's also rename this to stage 2. Now there's a problem with the references. Let's set it to 0 and background to 2. This is the stage 1. Now we have the stage 2. Lock the inspector. I think we changed the wrong one. Yeah, lock the inspector, and let's add as the background one. Stage 1 is done. Let's go inside stage 2. So I think yeah, no, stage 2 is not fixed. Let's set it to 0, and this one is going to have a background of 2. And let's lock the inspector, and let's add all of our stages. Now after we have 2 of the stages, let's add the rest of them. I think there are going to be 7 of them, so unlock stage 2, rename it to stage 3, rename this one to stage 3, inspector is unlocked, set the background to 3, and lock the inspector, and let's add all of our sprites, duplicate stage 3, unlock the inspector, Rename this as stage 4 and rename this as stage 4, and inside stage 4 let's set it to 0. It's going to be a tedious work, but we have to do it. Let's add all of our levels, and we'll need to do it 3 more times. Duplicate the stage 4, rename it to stage 5, rename the stage 4 to stage 5, unlock the inspector, change the stage 5 to the 5th one, set it to 0, and we are also going to need to change the diamonds required, but we'll do it a little bit later. So let's do this repetitive work first. 46 minutes again. uh, Coding UI is a little bit harder. If you can do it in like an hour, it's good, but when you try it yourself, you know that everything set up and all takes time. So I thought in 1 hour I should be able to also create the level panel, but as you can see, currently I'm just now adding all of our stages. So this is going to be our stage 6, which is going to have our background of 6. And finally, we are going to have our stage 7. Let's unlock it, which is going to be renamed to 7. And its background is going to be the 7th one. Let's set it to 0 and lock the inspector, and let's add all of them. Now for the stage 1 we had 0. For the stage 2 the diamonds required were, I think, maybe 10. Let's see, yeah, 10. So for the stage 2 the diamonds required were 10. I think we changed the wrong one. Diamonds required were 10. For the stage 3 it's 25. For the stage 4 it's 35. Stage 5 it's 50. And finally there's 65, and stage 7 it's 80. So these are all the default presets. Now inside our main menu manager where we have our stages, we are going to add all of our stages. So let's just have an of 7. So there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, stage 6, and stage 7. So after we created all of the stages, depending on the number of diamonds we have, so let's see if we are able to see a number of diamonds. So if we clear the player prefs, diamonds, 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 reload, and yeah. So where is our main menu manager, and where is our stage diamond sticks? How did it not work? So let's put our count here and let's hit play. So currently we have 7 diamonds, so let's clear all the player prefs, which is going to show our annoying sound first. And currently we have 0 diamonds. So next what we are going to do is, whenever we click on a stage or whenever the stage is available, the default settings and all, nothing much. So it's going to be directly edited on the stage. So let's go inside our prefab, which is going to be inside our UI and the stage, and we'll need to add the StageSelect script. So let's go inside Visual Studio. Now, so many useless things. So inside our stage UI, not stage UI data, main menu and stage select. Let's first delete everything and we'll add it manually. Hey DJ, level select, stage select. So inside stage select, we are going to need using Unity Engine.ui and using TM Pro. And let's create serialized field, private int, and we'll call it current level. Or maybe the current stage, and this current represents the current objects. And let's create a serialized field, private game object, active object, which is going to be the inactive object. And after that, serialized field, private tmp text, and this one is going to be for the context, and finally the diamond text. And next, let's create a button, and we can directly get from the get component, but get component is a little bit heavier, so we'll just use we'll directly reference it from the script. And let's create animation clip and we'll call it clip. And private bool is active. So is active. Let's do on enable, and what will happen on enable is we'll get the stage UI data, and let's call it data. It's going to be main menu manager dot instance dot stages, and we'll pass the value of our current stage -1. And after we get the data, we also need to get the current diamonds, which is going to be main menu manager dot instance dot diamonds. So both are inside our get and set. It should not change. So we have the diamonds, and int active is active. It's going to be the current diamond is greater than or is equals to data dot diamonds required, not int just is active. So if it is active, then we'll set the value, else what we are going to do, the diamond text dot text is going to be x plus diamonds. Data dot diamonds required dot to string. And we'll set the inactive object dot set active to true. And if it is activated, what we are going to do is bg image. We didn't create it, so we need to create it. So it's going to be serialized field, private image, and let's call it bg image. And bg image dot sprite it's going to be data dot current image and active object. Inactive object is inactive, and our context is going to be world plus current stage dot toString. So this is going to be our default setup, and at the end let's create private void, click the button, and if is active then we'll return. I mean, if it is not active, that returns. So start the coroutine. I clicked. Let's just call it I clicked. And again, it's going to be an I nominator. I clicked. And inside our I clicked, what we'll do is animator.play. Click clip.name, and after that anim time is going to be let's just do year return new, wait for seconds, and it's going to be click clip dot length. And after we have clicked, we are going to call main menu manager dot instance dot current stage. So again, we didn't create the current stage. Current stage is going to be our current stage, and we also need to call main menu manager dot instance dot clicked, and we have clicked our stage button. So we'll need to create that too. So let's go inside our main menu manager and let's create the function, which is going to be public void clicked stage. And inside our click stage, the first thing we are going to do is hide our stage panel. Show the level panel. And after that, we'll also need to change the text. Diamonds text, the current stage text, and the background image. So where we created our click play. So the level diamond text dot text is going to be x plus diamonds dot toString, and the current image current stage text dot text is going to be world plus current stage dot toString. And finally, a level background image, again we didn't add it, so it's going to be an image serialized field. Okay, we add the bg image, we'll need to call it inside the level. We have the bg image, so level bg image dot sprite, and the sprite's going to be we can directly get from the stages. So let's get from the stages. For the current stage -1 dot current image. So that should finish it, and yeah, that should be it. Now let's go inside Unity and let's set up our references for our stage. So the current stage will set it up. The inactive object is our active object. There's the background image. The count text is going to be the number. The diamonds text is going to be the diamond. And the button, the animator, and the clip are going to be clip. Okay, we need to add the clip. And inside our stages, for all of the stage, let's set the value. So this one is going to be 1, this one is going to be 2, this one's going to be 3, this one's going to be 4, 5, 6, and 7. So currently, if everything's working right now, there should be no problems, but we'll see what problems we are going to face. So we are seeing a couple of stages, but we are not able to see the rest. World. There is no W. 8010. Where the hell was the fault? 4 is the 4 and 7 is the 7. So it should be inside our stages 4. Stage 4. Okay, so the stage 4 needs 50. And how many does it need? 35, 0, 10, 25, 0, 10, 25, 35. And our stage 7 needs not 35, it needs 80. So everything should be turned off. Stage 4 needs 35 and inside our stage 7 needs 80. So let's hit play and let's see where's the problem. Why is there a problem with stage 3? Zero. BG2 10. Stage 3 BG3 25. Stage 4 BG4 35. Stage 5 BG5 50. Stage 6 BG6 65. Stage 7 BG7 80. So now it should be fine, I suppose. So let's hit play. And currently only the first world is available, the rest are not shown. But if we hit one, it's not working. I don't think we added. Did we add button dot? Yeah, we didn't add it. So let's go inside Visual Studio, and what we need to do is button dot on click dot add listener, and we'll need to add our click button listener. And now let's go inside Unity, and it should show us, but let's comment out a couple of things first. So we don't need to have right now. So what it should do is whenever we click any of the buttons, it should show us an empty panel, which is going to be our level panel. And I think both are set to false, so level panel is going to be true. So let's hit play and let's see if our sound is working. And so none of the levels are loading, but only the first level is loading currently right now. And if we need to check if all of the images are currently like correct, all we need to do is comment out the inactive object, and let's see how each of the colors look. So every button should be unique. As you can see, the numbers are different, but hmm, hmm, hmm. So it was not set up. Let's just have it as it is. And here, instead of, let's just set it to true. So there was a problem with how the code was going to work. So it was already false and it didn't set the images. So it was not showing. So now as you can see, the world is looking horrendous. So why is this happening? There is a problem with the number WORLD. W is different. WRLD plus I think there's no W. Let's just capitalize oh, not here. Not here. Where? Revert, and inside our stage BG for the number, let's just capitalize everything for convenience. So now everything looks fine. So that was for the stage, and if you did watch the whole video, thank you guys for watching. And in the next video, similarly how we created the stages, we are going to create the UI for our levels, which is going to take us to another different levels. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next video.